Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to your favorite show on the internet, Raw Law Unfiltered, with your favorite host of all time, the DUI Guy. Plus, today, this afternoon, we're going to continue with Karen Reed murder trial. Trooper Proctor, Proctor Trooper on the witness stand. Folks, it does not get much better than this. This is the creme de la creme. This is the Michael Jordan of screw ups. I can't think of an analogy that is apt right now, so you'll have to forgive me. I am a little bit scatterbrained as I am clearly at the airport. I already started the stream. Why are you telling me to start the stream? I started the stream. There is my only fan. So I don't understand what you're waiting for. There's nothing to be seen. There's nothing going on. It's just my OnlyFan. Today's your birthday. Happy birthday, Janice Baldwin. 55 and still alive. They are running late, folks. They are running late. And we are waiting for court to begin. I'm going to run this as much as I can. I'm going to be here probably until, I want to say, 12, 1, 2, 3, about 3:30 probably. 3:30. So I'm going to almost close out the day. If they're going until 4:30 today, I'll just be missing an hour. If they're going until 4, I'll just be missing half an hour because I'm unfortunately going to be taking off. The stream will continue running. I just won't be in the stream. Oh, Stacy, you're too sweet. Thank you, Stacy. So we're going to keep this going. We're going to keep this trial going. I just need to get through TSA, and everything is going to be peachy hunkadory. We're checking our bag right now, and once the bag is checked and we go through TSA, I will continue listening to this testimony of Proctor Trooper. Also, tonight at 6 p.m., don't forget we are premiering a new video. Jennifer McCabe, Part 9, is premiering tonight. That is tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. So you definitely don't want to miss that. It's still stuck on my OnlyFan. And yeah. Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Caroline Small, for joining on as a member. Thank you so very much. Really appreciate you. Come on, Auntie Bev. What's taking you so long? What is taking you so long, Auntie Bev? She's finishing that scotch. The line's moving. I want to make sure that my girlfriend doesn't get stranded. Oh, we're good. She's still all the way in the back. We're good. We got time. We've got time. We've got time. There's also some construction going on there. There's a lot of stuff going on in here. So much stuff going on in here. How's everybody doing? Tell me how you're feeling. Tell me what your thoughts are. Tell me your deepest, darkest secrets. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're thinking about this trial. Tell me what you're thinking about my my beard. And I'm not talking about Chandler. Somebody commented on one of my posts yesterday. I was trying to stir some drama. I normally don't, but this one was just too easy and too much fun. I hate drama for the most part, but this one was just too much fun. And they were so mad at me. They called me a homo, and they called Chandler a lesbian, and they said like, well, look at you, homo, dating a lesbian. And I'm like, man, like, how sour do you have to be to resort to such low level name calling? I'm like, it's kind of like we got a good laugh out of it, so I appreciate it. But like, that is that when people like, the hate is real, folks. Some of the people who are hating in the hate camp, it's growing. That's how you know you're doing things right. You have a lot of haters who come out of the woodwork, and I love it. I absolutely love it. If you haven't been paying attention, it's the scenic route to being called gay. Exactly. Um, so, look, haters are gonna hate. You can't put a plug on it. And actually, I don't want to. We have received. I hate to say it to all the people who like absolutely love me and love my content, but I have gotten more out of my haters than I have gotten out of the people who like actually like. Because people who like your content, they're like, "Hey, good for you, dude. You're doing great. You're awesome." But the people who hate you, they're just like, "You are da 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 da," and I'm just like, "Tell me more. Tell me how you feel." It's so good. Like, you can't make this up. Hate watching is a real thing. I didn't know it was a thing. Yankee Axe. Hate is really good for YouTube and for Twitter, because they share stuff. They share everything. It's really good stuff. The haters sometimes are your biggest fans, and you know it, and they'll never admit to it. Of course, they'll never admit to it. They'll never admit to it. Haters are supporters with a motive. That's an interesting way to describe them, I suppose. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. What is taking them so long? They're already 11 minutes late. We've already established I only have one fan, exactly. Oh, God. You guys are hilarious. Monique Schmucker says, Larry, your sense of humor has really brightened our mornings at our roundtable discussions. We've been watching a lot of your short videos, and you're the best. Much love to you and Chandler from Indiana. Oh, thank you so much, Monique. I love that. Thank you. That is awesome. I'm glad that we're able to brighten your morning, brighten your day. Yeah, exactly. Why is everyone here, right? Subscribe if you're a hater, just so you don't miss any content to hate on. Um, pinch it off, Bev. Let's go. Apparently, YouTube is holding chats mentioning haters for review. Oh, thank you, Thumper. I try my best. I mean, look, it takes a lawyer, I think, to be able to accurately depict what's going on, and even better if you're a trial lawyer. Just the way it is, because I can predict what is about to happen before it happens, or as it happens, I can explain what is happening. If you're not a trial lawyer, you can have a good guess. I'm not saying you're going to do a bad job. I recommend you guys go check out like Turtle Boy and The Glare and all of them if you like commentary about facts. See, people who come to my channel, they like commentary about the law because I can give you the insight about the law. I'm not the best when it comes to like dissecting all of these tiny little facts. You guys know this about me. You know where my limitations are and you know what my strengths are. That's why you come here. We are the jury says, I love the DUI guy. I came from What the Hales. Well, welcome to the channel, brother. Good to have you. Or sister. Auntie Bev is finishing her whiskey, her Tennessee whiskey. Lawyers know what to look for and to listen for, but do jurors know? That's a great question. I think so. Again, remember, jurors are human beings, just like you and I. So they don't have any special skills that you and I do. The only thing that they're lacking is research because they can't do any research. So they're at the mercy of what Lally tells them, what the witnesses tell them, what Jackson and Yannetti tell them. That's what they're at the mercy of. Tennessee whiskey with a Dunkin' Donut. That sounds like an Auntie Bev lunch. Maybe with a benzodiazepine. Her other nickname is Benzo Bev. Now I understand why. Like her sunken eyes terrify me. That woman is on more drugs than a pharmacy. I think pharmacists go to Auntie Bev to get prescriptions for their pharmacy. Like, hey, we're actually missing some trazodone, Auntie Bev. Do you have any? We ran out at the local pharmacy. They go to her house to refill prescriptions. Larry, I'm betting 90% of your travel bag is hair products. No, 90% of my bag is drugs, but thank you for asking. The other 10% is hair products. I'm new to your channel, but I have met you before during the Debbie Heard trial. Thank you for what you. Oh, thank you, Green Eyes. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you for being a fan. Thank you for. Okay, this is ridiculous. First, Auntie Bev complains that the defense is not moving fast enough, and now she's already 16 minutes late to her own trial. Like, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely absurd. I am not in Boston. I'll be in Boston on Wednesday. I'm going to need to find a charger as soon as we get inside. Oh, what happened? Oh, there we go. That was weird. Seriously, Auntie Bev is 15 minutes, 17 minutes late to her own trial. She really needs to get her shit together. It is 1:47 on the East Coast. It's 10:47 here. This is absurd. There is no court tomorrow. There's no court tomorrow. So if he, by he I mean Trooper Proctor, If Trooper Proctor closes out today, then on direct examination, and maybe they're going to finish direct examination on Wednesday, it's possible that they're going to start cross Wednesday afternoon, and then cross is going to continue into Thursday, and on Thursday I'm going to be in the courtroom to be able to do the cross examination for the case. So I'm super excited. For Trooper Proctor. If I get in there on cross, whoo boy, I'm gonna be so stoked. The lawyer should bring up that she's late every time she rushed them. You know what? That's definitely something you can do, but you don't want to piss the judge off too much, because unfortunately she's still the judge and she's still in control. That's the sucky part. You know what I mean? There's only so much you can do as a lawyer, and when you have an unruly judge that is so biased against you, and you're completely lacking in any and all control, well then there's nothing you can do. You're completely at the mercy of the court. You're at the mercy of the judge. You're at the mercy of her decisions. You're at the mercy of her discretions. You're at the mercy of her rulings. You're at the mercy of how she decides things. You have absolutely no control. It's just the way it is. Smitty says the jury's already called it not guilty. Well, let's go. Let's go. I agree, Wanya Firi. The judge is completely unprofessional and ridiculous. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Wait, do you guys think it's an hour lunch? I don't think it is. We had like a half-hour break in the morning. Now we're having, what, a full lunch suddenly? Since when? When do we get a full lunch? See, this judge is so ridiculous. She's so unpredictable. She doesn't tell you what she's doing, and then she just does it, and she expects you to just be okay with it. I swear, I've had some bad judges that I had to deal with. Some of them you can actually find in my shorts. If you go to my shorts right now, in another tab, you'll be able to find my most popular short. I think it has like 18 million views or something, 16, 17, 18, something like that. That was my worst experience with a judge, but also best experience, because I created some amazing content. The judge tried to hold a hearing without jurisdiction, and I put her in her place, because I don't take kindly to judges who don't listen to the law, don't follow the law. You must follow the law. If you don't follow the law, I'm going to call you out on it, especially if I believe that I'm right. So if you go to my channel under shorts and click on most popular, if you're on a computer, on a desktop, if you're on a TV, you can't, it's a lot harder. You have to like scroll through a bunch, so it will take forever. Don't do it on a TV. Do it on like a phone or a computer. If you do it on a phone or a computer, you'll be able to see that short. It's the top one. It's the most popular one. 60 seconds. There's a full video as well, also on my channel. But yeah. The Daybell judge was killer. So I haven't been following the Daybell case at all. Is it over? I know that Megan Fox is it Texas, Arizona, somewhere in the mountain time, Colorado. She's doing that one case. If you go under shorts, yeah, it's 60 seconds. Daybell got the death penalty. Not surprising. Not surprising at all. That's kind of what we all expected. Or Arizona, Owens versus Eckert. Thank you. That's what it is. Thank you, Rhonda Crum. The Tonsil Twins. Yes, the Tonsil Twins. That is such a good title. It's like the best title ever. The Tonsil Twins case in Arizona. Is it Mesa, Arizona? For some reason, I want to say it's Mesa. And Megan Fox is there right now. Owens versus Eckerd. That's the case that she's doing. Hansel twins. Oh, yes. What's my best takeaway so far from today's hearing? Well, so the second trooper that testified after Buchanan said that the taillight was cracked. So the jury at least got a chance to hear that. And then Trooper Proctor on direct examination so far hasn't really offered anything of value. He's just kind of filling in a few gaps, kind of painting the story, painting the timeline once again for the jury. But there's just so many lies, so much deception, so much, like, every word coming out of his mouth is just, it's just vile. Mesa. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it Mesa? Mesa, Arizona. I knew it was somewhere over there. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. Mesa, Arizona. Mesa, Arizona. I remember that was the city where it was happening. Mesa, Arizona. Owens versus Eckerd. That starts today. We'll see how that goes. I'm not going to be following it as closely. I will be doing the Alec Baldwin hearing on May 21st. Did Judge Bev this morning, for those of you who are paying attention, maybe you can help me out, because I was going to go back and review it. I just don't have time right now, so maybe I was going to do it later. I haven't had the time yet, I should say. I'll have the time later. But for those of you who have heard, did she say that there's no court on June 21st? I'm pretty sure she said there is no court on June 21st. Am I correct? Because June 21st, then I'm going to stream the Alec Baldwin trial, the Alec Baldwin hearing. The Alec Baldwin hearing starts at like 9 a.m. Pacific. Half day on June 21st? Is that what she said? Oh, half day. Damn. Okay, well, maybe we can do the Karen Reed first and then do the Alec Baldwin. Changed it. Thank you, Chad. She took it back. Took it back. Wow. I swear to God, Auntie Bev can't get shit together. It might be a full lunch hour, folks. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not sorry, but I'm sorry that we have been all misled that court does not resume at 1:30 like it always has been. And that it is.
You are unmuted.
There we go. There we go. All right.
What's back in session? You may be seated.
Bring the witness in, please.
Playing in my ears.
Just be mindful of the step up and just remember what's going on.
Settings, audio, mic.
So, jurors, before we begin, Mr. Lally, as you approach the podium there, when I tell you that I strike something from the record, I know I've told you before, that means you're not to consider it, okay? Go ahead, Mr. Lally.
Thank you.
All right, let's see what happens,
Good afternoon,
folks.
Good afternoon, sir.
So, with reference to, I believe before we broke, we were talking a bit about Julie Albert and Christopher Albert, correct?
Yes.
And how would you describe your relationship, if any, between Julie Albert and Christopher Albert prior to January 29, 2022?
Loose acquaintances.
People that you knew through your sister, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, with reference to the occasions that you had said where you may have been at the same place at the same time at a family function or something like that, over what period of time are we talking about, and about how many different instances of that occurred over those years?
Like I had mentioned, they had never been over my house. It was either at my sister's home or at my parents' house. I might have been at the same function half a dozen times.
And at those times that you were at the same function a half a dozen times or so, how much interaction would you have with either Christopher Albert or Julie Albert, or even Colin Albert at those functions?
Just casual conversation, be cordial, and just typical conversations, hi, how's it going, things of that nature.
Now, with reference to these experiences or relationships, or lack thereof, that you had with Christopher and Julie Albert, what, if any, conversations did you have with your supervisors, as far as superior officers within your unit, in regard to this?
I explained the connection with my sister to the Albert family.
And who did you explain that to?
That would be Sergeant Mechanic, Lieutenant Fanning, and Detective Lieutenant Tully.
All right, Trooper, I'm going to ask you to keep your voice up. Maybe approach the microphone a little closer.
And just with respect to those disclosures, what specifically did you tell either Sergeant Mechanic or Lieutenant Fanning or Lieutenant Tully?
Basically that the Alberts are my sister's friends, that I've been at some functions with them, and the only kind of connection with the Albert family is through my sister.
And just when you say the Alberts, as far as who specifically within the Alberts are you talking about that had a friendship with your sister?
Julie, Chris, and their son Colin.
Now, with regard to the investigation that you were conducting and the interviews that you conducted, what, if any, impact did those relationships have with regard to your interviews of them specifically, or the investigation in total?
Zero. Absolutely zero impact on this investigation.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Sir, I'm showing you a document. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And what do you recognize it to be?
It's a text message thread labeled Proctor Friends.
Now, over the course of your investigation, over the course of this case, are you aware that there were iCloud data that was obtained from your personal cell phone?
Yes.
And different text strings from that iCloud data from your personal cell phone, correct?
Correct.
And with respect to what has just been placed before you, is that an excerpt or piece from those particular messages?
It is.
And from the front page of that, can you tell the jury who are sort of the participants in this particular text communication?
There's several numbers that aren't identified. The three that are under kind of nicknames me and my buddies have for each other.
And generally speaking, just as far as the participants in this text communication, who are these people to you, and how do you know them? How long have you known them? Who are they?
The members on this text thread are close friends from junior high, first grade even.
So people you've known for years, is that correct?
Correct.
And do each of them live, or do any of them live within the general area at this time?
Some of them do, yes.
And so when some of them do, some of them do not, is that correct?
Correct.
And the ones that do not, how far away do they live?
As far away as Tennessee.
Now, with reference to this, there's an indication as far as the first message sent or last message sent from this particular text chain, correct?
I'm sorry, repeat the question, please.
Sure. Sort of towards the middle of the first page. Come direct your attention to that area. Is there any indication as far as the first message sent and the last message sent with respect to this text chain?
On the first page, yes.
And what is indicated as far as the first message and the last message?
The first message is, I need to brandish a gun more often. The last is, Chip, name of that BPD cop.
No, I'm sorry, sir. If I could direct your attention to the first page in this packet, page 2527, you see conversation details. I'm sorry, may I approach?
Yes.
If I could direct your attention to the right.
Okay,
Do you see what I was talking about now?
I do, sir.
And from that area labeled conversation details, there's a first message sent, date and time, and a last message sent, date and time, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What is the first message sent, date and time?
It's 10/18 of 2021 at 8:48 a.m. The last message sent is 8/31, 2022 at 11:19 p.m.
And is there also within that conversation details an indication as far as number of messages over that time frame within this communication?
There is.
And what does it list for number of messages?
It's 38,707.
And fair to say the packet that you have before you does not contain all 38,707 messages, correct?
That's correct.
The first message that you had, I believe, alluded to in reference to the first one listed within this communication, what date and time is that?
That was January 29th, 2022 at 10:36 p.m.
And who is that message from?
My friend who lives in Tennessee.
And what, if anything, did he send to the group?
I need to brandish a gun more often.
And if you know, what is that in reference to?
He just recently moved to Tennessee, and he was kind of, I think, making a joke as kind of the lifestyle down there where guns are more prominent or more common to be carried around there. So I interpreted that as a joke in that nature.
And the next message, sir, from that same page, 2527.
The next one is, it's bold.
And is there a name associated with that number that's in these?
No,
Do you know who that person is?
I don't.
And the next message, sir, from 10:52 p.m.
Chip, name of that BPD cop.
And Chip, who is that referring to, sir?
That is one of my nicknames I've had since maybe high school.
So a nickname that would be familiar amongst these group of friends in particular?
Yes.
And this time period when these text messages begin, sometime after 10:30 or 10:50 p.m. on January 29th, where are you and what are you doing in reference around that time period?
At this point in time, on the 29th, I'm home.
And that last text message, do you respond to that at approximately 10:53 p.m.?
Yes.
And what was your response?
John O'Keefe.
And the next message down from there, also at 10:53 p.m.?
Yes. He took custody of his sister's kids.
That's your response. There's another response above that. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what does that say?
How old?
And you respond as far as he took custody of his sister's kids, correct?
Correct.
Skipping down a couple, do you see an entry at 10:53:49 p.m.?
Yes.
And that's from a 617 number. Is that correct?
Correct.
And what is the response there?
Oh man, that's rough.
And following that, do you respond to the earlier query as far as age?
I do.
And what did you say?
Mid 40s.
Now, the next message below that, as far as indication of mid 40s, what is that?
His age.
No, I understand that. I'm sorry. The next message underneath that, sir.
I'm sorry. It's a Facebook link.
And do you recall what that Facebook link is to?
It's to John O'Keefe.
And is that something you sent or one of your friends sent?
One of my friends sent.
And the next message below, turning to now page 2529 at the top there. What is the next message that's sent?
What's that? Don't have the book anymore.
And as far as the book, what did you understand that to mean?
Let me approach. Sure. A 10-minute break. Okay.
Doing all right.
So do you have that copy for me?
Wait a second. What is going on? Are they taking another break? What is this break for? I'm asking Chad. There's no way that they're going to get to cross today. No, there's 0% chance that they're going to get to cross-examination. They just got back from lunch. Why are they doing another break? They've been in court for 10 minutes. Was there a reason? Like, did judge say why they're taking a break? This is ridiculous. With no explanation. Wow. Just a random break, huh? She said why? Did anybody hear? Judge never gave a reason. There was an objection. They talked for a second and they called a break. They might be like looking at some evidence or testimony or something. I don't know. I have no clue. Just a blunt break. No explanation. Can you imagine how frustrated the jurors are? If you and I are this frustrated, and we at least can go to the kitchen, you can make yourself a sandwich, you can make yourself a drink, you can order something maybe on Uber Eats. The jurors are trapped. They're stuck. They are literally sitting in that room and having to deal with all this bullcrap and nonsense without any recourse whatsoever. They have none. They have nothing. They're at the complete mercy of Lally and Judge Bev. Is Jen McCabe's attorney there? Really? I wonder why. There was an objection by Jackson. Okay. Well, they're literally caught in a trap. They can't walk out. Exactly. So crazy. Mad Scientist, thank you for being a member for 21 months. Something about a book that was said before the judge stopped proceedings. Maybe they're looking something up. I don't know. The objection should be to relevance. Lally Flop was exploring all the cop interpersonal crap, which is probative to guilt, not probative to guilt to innocence. Right. Thank you, Daily Quick Bites. Interesting. Interesting. It was a Facebook link. Hit that like button. Don't forget to like, and if you have not yet subscribed, and you feel like it, why not? We're approaching 450,000. We'll be to like 500,000 probably by Alec Baldwin's trial. All right, I hope you folks enjoy my OnlyFans. I will be right back.
You are
Get the witness
unmuted.
back, please.
Yes, you mind stepping in, Trooper? Still on the oath?
Yes, sir. Procedure on.
Yes.
Trooper, if I could direct you back to page 2529 within that packet before you. And below that text stating what's that, I don't have the book anymore. You respond, is that correct?
Yes.
And what is it that you say there?
This one is a nightmare. Forget about the kids. That's awful.
And sir, if I could direct your attention again within that same packet to 2532. And there's a message there sent at 10:56 p.m. Is that correct?
Yes.
And who's that from?
A friend who lives in Tennessee.
And what does he say in that text?
I'm sure the owner of the house will receive some shit.
And you respond at 10:56 as well as 10:57. Is that correct?
Correct.
And what is it that you respond?
My first response was nope. Homeowner is a Boston cop too.
And what, if anything, were you saying, or what was the purpose of that text in regard to the homeowner?
I was just letting him know that essentially Mr. O'Keefe is a Boston cop and the homeowner was a Boston cop as well.
Now, if I could turn your attention to 2533. And top of the page, sir, if you could read through that page as far as who's texting and what are they saying?
Again, for my friend from Tennessee and myself, I hope not, but I can't see it. I responded with, she waffled him. I looked at his body at the hospital. He was banged up.
Now, as far as the next text from a 781 number,
Mhm.
What does that say?
Did he get beat up?
And you responded to that, is that correct?
I did.
The objection is sustained as to form.
What, if any, response did you provide to that?
Nope.
Objection. The objection was to the former question and the answer.
I'll strike it.
Now, turning your attention to 2534. And from this page, sir, if you could, again, just read through as far as indicating to the jury who's speaking and what is being said.
From the start of the first text, so the owner of the house?
Yes.
So the owner of the house was a woman cop that beat him? That's what I initially thought after talking to Canton paramedic. Then I saw the guy.
And those last two are your responses, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, the following text messages are from your friends, is that correct?
Yes.
What do they say?
Bear, let's focus. What does she waffle to mean? What's the story? I responded, she hit him with her car.
And the she that you're referring to there, who is that?
Miss Reed.
Now, turning your attention to the next page, 2535. Again, if you could start at the top of the page and read through that page and just indicate to the jury who is talking and what is being said.
Okay. My friend in Tennessee states, okay, that's fucked up. I respond, intentional or not. Then another response, gotcha. He was frozen in the driveway and she didn't see him, question mark. That's another animal we won't be able to prove. And then I respond, they arrived at the house together, gone to an argument.
I don't want to speak out loud or out of turn.
The objection's overruled.
Your Honor,
But
if I could say this, there needs to be an identifier of who's
I
speaking.
understand what you think the mix-up is. So, Mr. Lally, go back.
Thank you.
Sir, if you could please, again, start at the top of the page and just indicate.
No,
as you go
just after the, gotcha, he was frozen in the driveway, correct, Mr. Jackson?
That's correct, Your Honor. Thank you.
I respond, that's another animal we won't be able to prove. I follow that up. They arrived at the house together, got into an argument. She was driving and left. 781 number responds with, what's the name of the Canton cop living in Canton? The other one involved.
And how do you respond to that, sir?
There's several other messages before I issue a response.
Objection again. Bottom of the page.
So it's not an objection, but Mr. Lally, why don't you point him?
So, sir, at the bottom of page 2535, you have a response. Is that correct?
Correct.
And what is that response?
They arrived at the house together, got into an argument. She was driving and left.
Objection.
So it's going to be a matter you can address on cross.
There has to be some accuracy. If the reading of
So
this-
I understand. So, Mr. Lally, why don't you go point for your witness?
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's a HTML link, it's whiteout / Proctor iCloud / group.
Thank you, Paul
chat,
Wright, for joining
chat
on as a
2022.
member.
So you point out.
Can I see what you have for a second, please?
Yeah, sure.
Mr. Lally, it's on there. Why don't you go show your witness? Why don't you just read it, Mr. Lally, and tell us who you attribute it to?
Sure. So, sir, what I'm asking you about is the bottom of page 2535, excuse me, 2535. You indicated biffed him, correct?
Correct.
And what did you mean by that?
That Miss Reed had struck Mr. O'Keefe with her vehicle.
Now, sir, if I could direct your attention to page 2537. Now, do you see a response toward the bottom of the page from yourself, January 29th, 2022 at 11:04 p.m.?
Yes.
And can you read that response for the jury?
Yeah, but there'll be some serious charges brought on the girl.
And what did you mean by that, sir?
That throughout the course of the day, we had compelling evidence that Miss Reed struck Mr. O'Keefe with her vehicle.
And you have two responses from friends, the same friends, at the bottom of that page, 2537. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And what are those responses?
Keep your voice up loud, please. Trooper Proctor, jurors can't hear you.
Yes, Your Honor. Number ending in 5051. Got to be, I can only imagine what internal affairs of the BPD are trying to get out there. The second response, same number. She hot at least.
And turning your attention to the next page, 2538, at the top, if you could just read a series of responses from yourself, correct?
Yes, sir.
Read from those, sir.
Yep, so these came from me. From all accounts, he didn't do anything wrong. She's a whack job. CUNT.
Objection.
So don't spell it. You have to, so these are your words, Trooper Proctor?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead and say them.
Cunt. Yes, she's a babe. Weird Fall River accent, though. No ass.
And sir, what is it that you were referring to there, or why would you text that?
These were, from all accounts, he didn't do anything wrong. Is talking about the homeowner, Mr. Albert. I had mentioned the compelling evidence against Ms. Reed at this point indicated that Mr. Albert had nothing to do with Mr. O'Keefe's death. The rest of the unprofessional and regrettable comments are something I'm not proud of, and I shouldn't have wrote in a private or any type of setting.
Thank you, Reform Congress, for being a member for 24 months. Mr. Carey for being a member for a month. And Kat Buchanan, welcome back as a member to the channel. Thank you so much.
If I could turn your attention to page 2540.
This guy's so gross, I swear. I can't stand him.
And there's a photograph that's shared within this text communication. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And does it indicate who shared that photograph? From the prior page, possibly.
Is this cross yet?
The number ending in 5051.
And who is depicted in that photograph
it's
that was
right.
shared within the group text?
It's Miss Reed being escorted out of the State Police Milton Barracks.
And these are all from February 1st of 2022, around that time frame. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, sir, if I could direct you to page 2543.
Of course I remember you, Kat. She is doing well. We're going to
Sir, if
see
I could
her
direct you to
tonight.
the top of the page and ask you to read through that page, indicating who's speaking and what the content of those communications are.
Okay. Number ending in 4146. Question is that chick a smoke? Again, 4146 question mark. I respond EH. I respond again, not bag, as Chief would say.
What did I miss? Sorry, I was going
she's
through
got a leaky
TSA.
balloon
What
knot,
did Trooper
leaks
Proctor
poo.
say that is making you guys react in such a manner?
And what, if anything, is that in reference to?
Was it
Again,
when he was trying to get news off of Karen's phone, or was it something else?
To misread some medical conditions there. Again,
What is
unprofessional
he reading?
comments I should not have made, and that I'm not proud of.
I don't want to know. He called Karen the C word.
As far
Oh,
as
yes, that's
attitudes
right. I
expressed
remember
in
that.
These text messages and other
Good
text
God.
messages, what, if any, impact did that have as far as your investigation was concerned regarding this?
These juvenile, unprofessional comments have zero impact on the facts and the evidence and the integrity of this investigation. They said these are unprofessional comments, but they absolutely do not detract from the integrity of the investigation or the facts and evidence of it.
Your Honor, may I approach this retreat?
Yes.
Now, Trooper Proctor, contained within, you've seen text messages amongst yourself and a variety of different people from that same sort of iCloud area of your personal phone, correct?
Correct.
And among those, are there communications that you had with members of the Canton Police Department?
Yes.
And how would you characterize, or what was the general content of communications that you had with members of the Canton Police Department?
One communication was to coordinate interview times for firefighters and police officers and to set up a conference room where those interviews could be conducted. Obviously, the presence of Canton detectives or any police officers were not going to be sitting in on these interviews. Another communication was to inquire of relevant security videos that are in the area. Their local department, they know the area very well, so I reached out and asked if there's some good cameras in the area that I had of kind of interest in.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
showing you another document, just ask if you recognize that.
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize that to be, sir?
Text communications between my sister and I.
That's your sister Courtney, is that correct?
That's correct.
And similar to what I'd asked you about the prior packet, as far as a first message sent, date and time, last message sent, date and time, what is indicated on this first page?
First message sent, date, time, December 10th, 2021 at 9:33 p.m. Last message sent, 8:30, 2022 at 8:48 p.m.
And 8:30, that's August 30th, is that correct?
I'm sorry, yes, August 30th, 2022.
And similarly to the other messages, is there an indication as far as how many number of messages were sent between yourself and your sister over that time period?
2,865.
And fair to say that the documents in front of you do not contain 2,865 messages?
Correct.
Now, just in reference to the first message on page 2662, the first page in this packet, do you see that from December 10th of 2021 at approximately 9:33 p.m.?
Yes.
And what does that indicate?
A text message from my sister.
And what does it say?
I called earlier, Dolph earlier, and mom was puking in the background.
And do you recall what that was in regard to?
From the sounds of it, my mother had the stomach bug.
And sir, if I could direct your attention to page 2667. And these are text messages from January 29th, 2022, between yourself and your sister Courtney, correct?
Correct.
And if you could read from the top of the page through the end, and please indicate to the jury as far
One of my
as
good friends has Crohn's disease. I know what that feels like. It feels
So I
bad.
texted my sister at work, "What's up?" She responds, "What? Why?" I respond, "I just found it frozen to death on a front lawn in Canton this morning. Actually just interviewed Jen McCabe. Said she knows you."
And the knows you, who are you referring to?
My sister.
And how did your sister respond to that?
Cut the shit. I responded, "You." It was a typo correction with my response to you. She responded, "Yeah, she knows Jack very well. She's really good friends with Julie." My sister continues on. Her sister is married to Brian Albert. My sister asks, "You still working?" ? I says, yeah, going to be out for a while. Homicide.
And as far as your answers to those questions, or as far as your communications that you had with your sister at this time on the afternoon of January 29th, what were those in regard to, or why were you communicating that to your sister?
At that time, it was just kind of in the news. I was just kind of letting her know I was out working. She didn't share anything specific. I wouldn't share anything specific on cases with my family or anyone. It was just kind of an overall innocent conversation.
Now, turning your attention to the next page, 2669. Again, if you could read from that page as far as who was talking and what the content is.
All right. My sister starts off, "The Canton thing is a homicide." I respond, "This is at 3 p.m. on the 29th. Don't say a word to anyone." She said, "Of course not." I respond, "In the very least, it's suspicious." She responds, "This is your livelihood." And then I would never miss with that. 3:07, I respond, "Julie and Chris were at the bar with the victim and girlfriend. Got to interview them."
I'd like to direct your attention to page 2672. These are messages from February 1st, 2022. Is that correct?
Correct.
And the one at the top starts about February 1st, 5:57 p.m. Is that correct?
Yes.
And again, if you could.
Thank you very much,
read
Karen
through as
Sosby,
far
for the
as-
one gifted shout out.
She responded, nothing. Just saw Julie, and she said, when this is all over, she wants to get you a thank you gift. And I respond, get Elizabeth one. Elizabeth's my wife. And my sister responds, because I guess her and Chris were friends with John, and she's so proud of you for leading this. And then she writes, Elizabeth, question mark. I respond with, she's been stuck with the kids for the last 10 nights. My sister responded, yeah, but she knew what life is like married to a cop.
And sir, as far as the gift that's mentioned, as far as Julie Albert, is that anything that you have received at any point in time?
I never received a gift. I never asked for a gift. My wife never received a gift. She never asked for a gift.
So how would you describe this context of this conversation, or why that's being discussed at this time?
Again, I don't know the thought process of my sister and Julie as far as bringing that idea of a gift into play. Like I said, I didn't ask for one. I never received one. The same with my wife.
Sir, if I could direct your attention to page 2676. And again, if I could ask you to start at the top of the page and read through and just indicate as far as who is saying, who is speaking and what they're talking.
I start out, we write like 8 to 12 warrants on each case. My sister responded, no, I have no idea what the hell you do or how it works. I responded on the 10th at 7:36 p.m. I'm starving, but I also just want to go home. Thanks, though. My sister responds, yeah, but is dinner going to be waiting? She responded with, ha, ha, ha. And then I responded, yep. And then my sister responded with, okay, it's fine. Mom and I just don't want to go home.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Another document, sir, do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
And what do you recognize that?
This is private messages between my wife and I.
Again, what is your wife's name?
Elizabeth.
And what, if anything, does that indicate as far as dates and times and number of messages involved?
Okay, so the first message sent 5/20/2022 at 6:19 p.m. The last message sent 8/31/2022 at 9:16 p.m.
And what, if any, indication does it give as far as number of messages within that text chain?
1,632.
And of those 1,162, there's one message that's listed on that, is that correct?
Correct.
And what is the date and time of that message?
Thank you, Lorianne, for the one gifted.
This is me speaking on June 9th, 2022 at 4:56 p.m. I text my wife waiting to lock this whack job up.
And what are you referring to in that text, sir?
I'm referring to the arrest after Ms. Reed was indicted by the grand jury.
And again, as far as the terminology that you use in that text message to your wife, why is that?
Again, unprofessional messages I should not have sent. I don't have an explanation other than they're regrettable and it's something I'm not proud of, the language I used.
May I approach to retrieve your?
Yes. All right, so Trooper Proctor, the jurors can't hear you. So speak directly into your microphone the way I'm doing, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Maybe approach on this one.
Okay.
Unmuted.
Now, Trooper Proctor, you're familiar with conversations that within the same text communications from your personal phone with colleagues of yours at the state police?
Yes.
And Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
Sorry. May I have a moment with counsel?
Okay.
Thank you. Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Showing you another document, sir. Before I get into that, though, if I could turn your attention back to some of the comments on the language used in the January 29th and February 1st or 2nd text communications among your friend group. With reference to that particular time frame and the language that you used, what sort of information had you gathered to that point, and why would you say or use that particular language in your, particularly in your descriptions of the defendant?
So this is, 16, 18 hours later, and we had conducted multiple interviews.
Speak up.
Conducted multiple interviews. We knew Mr. O'Keefe never went into Fairview Road. We knew there was one shoe at the scene, one shoe at the hospital. Based off Mr. O'Keefe's injuries, Miss Reed's statements when Sergeant Buchanan and I interviewed her, her broken taillight, the missing taillight, some taillight pieces found at the scene, the compelling evidence pointing directly at Miss Reed that she struck Mr. O'Keefe with her vehicle led me to make those comments. Whether, like I said, they weren't professional comments, but based on the day's investigation, it was clear that Miss Reed had struck Mr. O'Keefe with her vehicle.
Sir, if I could turn your attention to the documents before you, do you recognize those?
I do.
And as far as the participants in that particular conversation, who were the participants listed there?
It's Trooper David DeChico and myself.
And Trooper DeChico and yourself both work within the same unit with the state police, is that correct?
That's correct.
And beyond the professional relationship you have with yourself, between yourself and Trooper DeChico, how would you characterize your relationship, generally speaking?
We're buddies, we golf together, hang outside of work, our kids play together. So I'd say, we're friends.
Now, within the, again, as far as the first message sent, date and time, and last message sent, date and time within this conversation, if you could describe that for the jury.
First message sent, date and time, March 17th, 2022, 11:08 a.m. Last message sent, date and time, August 18th, 2022, 6:08 a.m.
And again, the number of messages listed within this text chain.
87.
And fair to say the documents before you do not contain 87 text messages, correct?
That's correct, sir.
Now, just in general terms, if you have an opportunity to just look at the first couple pages there, fair to say those are just sort of jokes that you have going back and forth between yourself and Trooper DeChico. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Now, if I could turn your attention specifically to page 2632. And these are text messages starting on April 28th, 2022 at 10:52 in the morning. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, what was the time again, sir?
April 28th, 2022, 10:52 a.m.
Yes, correct.
And again, sir, with reference to this page, if you could read the content to the jury and please indicate whom is speaking at each respective times.
Okay. I start out without a doubt. He's got diarrhea of the mouth too. Trooper DeChico, rookie move, not going into a meeting with the ME and getting that homicide determination. I respond, Yuri and I had 2 conference calls with her, sent her numerous photos, etc. We laid out the entire case for her. Trooper DeChico responds, not good enough, should have had me or Jeff do it. I respond, if you two did it, she would have made it accidental or natural causes.
And can you explain the context of those communications, or what exactly is it that you and Trooper DeChico are talking about in that communication?
Okay, so the ME is the medical examiner. They conducted the autopsy of Mr. O'Keefe. Our office, it's kind of a little bit of a locker room.
Hold on, wait for the ambulance and then speak up. The jurors can't hear you way back where the court officer's standing.
So like I said, the ME stands for medical examiner. They conducted the autopsy of Mr. O'Keefe. I guess I'll address the conference calls Sergeant Buchanan and I had with the medical examiner. The doctor had some questions as to the facts and evidence, kind of what had transpired, which is common. Even if it's a homicide, I've had many calls with the medical examiner's office, even if it's a suicide or overdose, almost I wouldn't say almost, always with a homicide, the doctor wants to know what transpired. Trooper Chico and myself, we kind of like to bust each other's chops, go back and forth. So that's what he meant by saying, rookie move, not going into a meeting with the ME and getting that homicide determination. The original determination came back.
Objection.
What?
Sustained. Next question, Mr. Lally.
Now, as far as attending the autopsy, is that something that typically someone within your office would do, within your unit would do with regard to any sort of death investigation?
Yes.
And do you know who attended the autopsy of Mr. O'Keefe in this specific case?
Trooper Connor Keefe.
And so as far as Trooper Chico's reference to you not going in, or Sergeant Mechanic not going in, is that what you believe Trooper Chico was referring to in that message?
Objection.
Sustained as to the form.
You indicated that you and Trooper Chico bust each other's chops. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And can you describe a little more, expound upon that as far as the nature of your relationship and sort of the text messages that you exchange in this and then other communications that you have?
Basically just, kind of needling each other, and him doing that is by saying, texting me, rookie move, not going into meeting with the medical examiner. So that's a perfect example of him kind of just needling me, which we do on a daily basis.
And as far as your interpretation of that, did you interpret that as a serious comment or something said in jest?
I interpreted that as a typical joke from Trooper Chico.
Now, may I approach the retrieve?
Yes.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Showing you another document, asking, do you recognize that?
Yes.
Do you recognize that to be?
Text messages between myself and Trooper Chico.
And again, what is the first message sent, date and time, last message sent, date and time, and number of messages contained therein?
First message sent, date and time, April 28th, 2022 at 1:09 p.m. Last message sent, date and time, April 28th, 2022, 4:45 p.m.
And the number of messages, sir?
4.
And if you could read the contents of those messages contained therein. Please indicate who's speaking.
So I started out, of course, it's undetermined. She was a whack job. Trooper Chico responds, "Dear God, WTF, what the hell is inconclusive about the whole thing?"
And as far as your indication there, as far as she was a whack job, who are you referring to there?
Miss Reed.
Now, as far as the undetermined of what you're talking about, what is sort of the content or the context of this conversation?
That would be the
Thank you, Krista
manner
M,
of
for
death was
joining on as a
determined to
new
be
member, and thank
undetermined
you,
by the
Karen
medical
Pilsey,
examiner's
for
office.
joining on as a new member as
So
well.
I ask you again, as far as your reference there in the bottom of the first page, as far as she was a whack job, whom do you believe you're referring to there?
Again,
Reed or the medical examiner?
Miss Reed.
Yeah, we've been waiting for the forensic pathology since day one. Lally has been delaying it because he knows it's going to destroy his
May I
case.
approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
I was gonna do Brian Higgins next, and then Sergeant Buchanan, but by the looks of it, my next target may be Trooper Proctor. We're gonna start doing his videos probably Saturday. I'd say Saturday. We're gonna start dissecting him. We can always go back to Higgins. Proctor is way more interesting. Jennifer McCabe is almost done. Part 9 will premiere tonight at 6, 3 p.m. Pacific. Hello, Jose Gonzalez. How are you? He called the medical examiner a whack job? What? Trooper Proctor did that?
You want to make, I take just something with Phil Johnson.
Wow. Oh, I love you too, Alexandria Rain.
You want to maybe approach briefly on this packet?
This is such a dumpster fire. Okay, so I'm confused. Some people are saying no, he did not. Others are saying yes, he did. Who did he call a whack job? He called Karen that? First he calls her the C word, then he calls her that? That's really mean. That is extremely mean and unprofessional and unbecoming of a sergeant in the Massachusetts police force. No, that's not how you do things. He called Karen a whack job. It doesn't even matter who he called it. It would be even worse if you called the medical examiner. But actually, I don't know what's worse, to be honest. I don't know what's worse. Yay, our plane's here. How was your salad, babe? Do you want me to take a photo? Here, I got you.
You are unmuted.
May I approach the witness, Sean?
Yes.
They're handing you another set of documents. View those, look up when you're finished. Do you recognize those, sir?
Yes, I do.
And what do you recognize those to be?
Another text thread between myself, Trooper DeChico, and Trooper Kokowski.
And Trooper Kaskowski is another trooper within your unit in the state police, is that correct?
Yes.
And again, if you could read from the first message sent, date and time, and the last message sent, date and time.
First message sent, date and time, 5/24/2022, 9:21 p.m. Last message sent, date and time, 8/24/2022, 4:56 p.m.
And as far as the number of messages indicated within this text chain between yourself, Trooper Kakowski, and Trooper DeChico,
494.
fair to say the documents before you do not contain 494 text messages, correct?
Correct.
Just in reference to that first page, 2635, first message sent, that's May 24th, 2022, around 9:21 p.m., is that correct?
Yes.
And that's a message sent from Trooper Kaskowski, is that correct?
Correct.
And what is that?
Appears to be a picture of a toy Santa Claus.
Now, sir, if I could direct your attention to page 2644. If I could direct you to the bottom of the page, sir.
Very
see the text
apolitic.
from yourself,
Gladly have to
2/9,
bring it out. Otherwise,
2022
it's
at
going to
11:19
destroy the
p.m.
case even more than it already is.
Yes.
Very bottom of the page. And Your Honor, may I approach just to point it out?
Yes.
Yeah, I see it, sir. Okay.
If you could read what you wrote on June 9th, 2022, around that time, sir.
If you like women who shit themselves.
And again, sir, what is it that you're referring to there?
Again, a regrettable comment I made about Miss Reed's medical condition.
Now, if I could direct you to the following page, 2645. And again, if you could read from that page as far as who is, and indicate to the jury who is speaking and what is being said on page 2645.
I'm speaking right now. The statement she made tonight at age 7 was mental. Thank Christ it was on BWC, which is body worn camera. Trooper Kokowski responds, that's her. Smoke.
Wait, what did I miss?
Trooper Kokowski again, what'd she say? I respond, said the Alberts beat the shit out of O'Keefe, left him for dead, and that's why her taillight was cracked. She's gross. Trooper DeChico, oh, fuck her, bitch.
What on earth?
Thank you, sir. May I approach to retrieve your arm?
Yes.
Sir, with reference to that last bit, as far as June 9th, 2022, what was going on that day in reference to this matter again?
Miss Reed was being processed at the Milton Barracks.
Thank you. I may have just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
Wow.
May I approach?
Yes.
I'll give you another set of documents to recognize those.
I do.
what do you recognize those to be?
Another text thread with
He really
members
is.
from my office, troopers.
Hey, Chandler.
And who are the
Mad
troopers that
scientist
are
says,
listed?
Proctor, is this
within that?
trial Mark
Uh,
Furman?
Trooper Chris Moore, Trooper Jeff Kukowski, Lieutenant John Fanning, Trooper Dave DeChico, and Sergeant Yuri Buchanan.
And
He's
what
just
is
a
the
horrible
first
human
message
being.
Sent, date and time.
That would be 5/26/2022
I'll do a
at
breakdown.
8:19 p.m. Last message sent, date and time, 8/26/2022, 5:36 p.m.
And what is listed as far as the number of messages within this chain?
651.
And fair to say the documents before you do not contain all 651 of those messages within this chain. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, sir, if I could
People are saying
direct
if
your
something would happen
attention
to this guy, I would not
to
feel sorry whatsoever. Oh my God.
page 2682. You see a message sent from Trooper DeChico on August 17th, 2022 at 9:42 p.m.
Yes.
And is that an image contained on the next page, which is 2683?
Yes, it is.
And what is the image of?
That
You
is
may
a
be able to
picture
tell.
of Mr. Yannetti. Appears to be from quite some time ago.
Now, turning your attention to the next page,
Um,
2684.
No, Matrix. I'm going to keep going a little bit.
And there's
we
a
might finish
response
the
from
day
you,
out.
August 17th, 2022.
Our flight
at
is delayed.
9:44 p.m. Is that correct?
So I'm going to keep streaming basically until we board. Or I guess I should say until we take off. Thanks for asking.
Sorry, sir. Go with the date and time again, please.
Sure. Page 2684.
Jane, thank you for joining us as a
8/17,
member.
2022, 9:44 p.m.
Yes,
You see there's like sort of three
Yeah.
responses from you.
I have you now.
If you could just read the three responses from yourself, sir.
Okay, so these came from me. Funny, I'm going through his retarded client's phone.
He has no choice,
No news
Spectre.
so far.
His case is
I hate
shit.
that man. I truly hate him.
Now, with reference to the investigation at this point, when you're talking about his client's phone, who are you referring to?
Miss Reed.
And with regards to
Oh, Water Roadless
phone
Wolf
at that
says, all
point,
rise
can
for
you
the
describe
Honorable
for the
Judge
jury sort of what's
Cornholio.
going on
Yet her
during this
defense
time
is
period
put
of
for
August
her.
17th, 2022 in regard to Ms. Reed's phone?
So after obtaining a search warrant from Miss Reed's phone, we weren't able to extract any data from it until August of 2023. Troopers in my office knew I was going through the
Gotta
phone
love
that
it.
evening. I was most interested in location data, text messages, Google searches. That was the update I gave the troopers in the office. It was a distasteful joke. I should have gave a proper update instead of that. I wasn't able to go through the phone as thoroughly as possible because I came across some a text between an attorney and Miss Reed, so I had to stop going through her phone, and I made my supervisors aware of those communications.
Now, just in reference to what you had just said, this is in August of 2022, is that correct?
Correct.
So after a search warrant is obtained for the defendant's phone, where did it go? You indicated you gave it to Trooper Garino, and where did it go from there?
Trooper Garino essentially hooks it up to a device called Gray Key, where he tries every possible combination passcodes in order to access the data contained in the phone.
And at that time, when you retrieved it pursuant to the search warrant, you didn't have the passcode to the defendant's phone, is that correct?
Correct.
So that device is designed to sort of go through numbers and try to find a combination to get into the phone, correct?
Correct.
And so from the time that you had seized it
Thanks,
in late
Matrix.
January,
Shout out if
or on
you got a
January
gifted
29,
membership from Matrix.
2022, until this date in August of 2022, had you been able to get into the phone or see anything in the phone in those intervening months, or 7 months between January and August?
No.
And so then at this time that you're sending this text message in August of 2022, is that around the time that you were first able to access the phone?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Yes, that was the first time we were able to have access to the phone.
And with reference to your access to the phone, Were you looking for nudes or anything like that in regard to the defendant?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Like I stated, I was most interested in Miss Reed's location data, text communications, Google searches, things of that nature. More evidence
And
contained
nude.
within the phone.
And so, sir, you mentioned at some point you came across some information that caused you to sort of freeze your looking through the phone. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so, as far as that specific time period in August of 2022, when was the next time that you or any troopers from your office were able to actually look at any extraction of the defendant's phone?
So once I came across that text communication that took place on the 29th between Ms. Reed and an attorney, the phone had to be sent off to what they call a taint team to remove any attorney-client privilege information from the phone, and then it would be returned to us, as well as defense received a copy of that as well. I'm not positive on the time. It was quite a long turnaround for that process to be completed.
Sometime at least in the spring or summer of 2023. Does that sound about right?
That sounds about right.
May I approach to retrieve, Your Honor?
Yes.
May I have one moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
There is no way that he's done. There is no way.
Thank you, sir. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right. So I'm going to see you
What?
at sidebar so I don't interrupt your cross.
Direct examination of Proctor is done. It's 3:30. Oh my God. I hope that Jackson begins with.
Almost. My flight got a little delayed, but I'm still.
I hope it starts with the nudes.
Yeah.
Because
I give it a
Alan
7.
needs
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, and I'm at the Fairfield. Yeah, at the Marriott was full.
I think they're going till 4:30.
Awesome.
God, what a shit show. Yeah, I could just miss my flight, all for the sake of the stream. No, people are like, you can just miss your flight.
Okay.
Yeah. We only have somewhere between 30 and 60 minutes left of the day anyway, because it's 3:30
Okay.
on the East Coast.
Love it.
It's okay. I'm excited because I'm gonna get a chance to
Awesome. Thank you.
cross him
Appreciate
blind, not cross him, dissect him blind, the cross-examination, probably on Saturday when I get back, or Friday night. I'll start the recording. And that way I don't get a chance to get a preview. You know what I mean?
Nice. God, I hope so.
What do you think?
I can feel the case.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Awesome. Everything with the simulator and stuff usually.
Yeah, it's 3:30 right now. It's 12:30 in California. How much to miss flight?
That was,
No, I'm not gonna.
and that was
I'm not gonna set a rate or whatever. It makes no sense. That's a little excessive. We should have already left. Our flight was set to depart at 12:28, and it's 12:30 now, and we haven't even started boarding yet.
excited to see it.
But it's typical for Breeze Airlines. They're usually like 30 to 90 minutes late, so we're already 30 in. We'll probably be leaving in about half an hour.
No, I'm good to go. I'm all set. I got everything with me. Got the dilator, got the sheet. I'm like, probably you're wrong. Yeah. I'll reach out to him right now. So, no sweat.
Tim McSats, how do you know about Proctor's wife? How do you know what she's like? No, it's not members only. It's subscribers only right now.
I'll talk to you soon. You got it. Right back that stuff.
I think it's Jackson crossing, not Yannetti. Tell us, Tim McSats, what do you know about Proctor's wife? Because I don't know anything about her. Larry's not going to miss his flight if the crew and pilots are watching the stream.
Carlos Ramirez. Carlos Ramirez, to a courtesy telephone, please.
Berserker is asking a very interesting question. Do you think Lally is really this stupid? Does he really believe everything all these people are saying? Or that he was just forced to prosecute the case, or all of the above? Okay, let's answer it one at a time. Do I think Lally is really this stupid? Answer, yes. He is not a competent prosecutor. He doesn't understand human psychology at its basic precepts. He doesn't understand human behavior. He doesn't understand how to prosecute a case effectively, especially of this magnitude. He has a little bit of experience, very, very little, not enough to really be an effective prosecutor, especially on a murder case where there are tons of witnesses. The way that he's calling witnesses leads me to believe that he's done a lot of preliminary hearings as a prosecutor, but he has done very few trials, if any. He may have been a second chair. Maybe he watched a few on TV. He's definitely learned from Elaine Bredehoff the what if anything cure-all question, which is not a cure-all question at all. It's actually a horrible question. So I think Lally is definitely losing points there. Now, next
You
part of
are
the question, do I
unmuted.
really
All
believe,
right, so
does he really
just
believe everything that people
before
are
you
saying?
start then, so we'll finish at 4. We're trying to figure out the schedule this time. I'm going to meet with the lawyers and witnesses. We're trying to work all that out, but as it looks right now, I thought it was going to interfere with another day this week. As it looks right now, it may not. At the most, it will be half an afternoon or something, maybe on Friday, but it does now look good that we'll be able to continue with this. We're out tomorrow, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will be full days, and we'll be able to keep moving. All right. All right, Mr. Jackson, go right ahead.
Awesome. I don't think Lally
Proctor, in the
believes all of
summer
it,
of
and I think he's
2022,
forced to
August
prosecute the case. Yeah.
17th specifically, you were sitting at your desk, presumably alone at your office, at about 10 p.m. at night, going through my client's personal cell phone, correct?
Here we go. Here come the nudes.
Yes, sir.
As a matter of fact, you were sitting there texting with your friends and colleagues at Massachusetts State Police about you going through her personal cell phone. Is that right?
Correct, sir.
And that included Trooper DeChico, is that right?
DeChico, yes, sir.
Trooper Fanning, Trooper Butnick, Trooper Moore, and Trooper Kotskowski.
Kakowski.
Tell me that again.
Kakowski.
Kotskowski.
Yes, sir.
All right, all the consonants are silent. Fair enough. Trooper Fanning and Trooper Butnick are your supervisors.
Yes.
And you were bragging to all 5 of them that you were going through Karen Reed's cell phone about 9:45 at night.
Objection.
I'll allow it.
Is that right?
No, I wasn't bragging, sir.
How did you refer to Ms. Reed in that text exchange where you informed them that you were going through her phone?
I use regrettable language. I said going through his retarded client's phone right now.
You were shown a photograph of my colleague, Mr. Unetti, correct?
Yes.
May I approach?
Yes.
Same document. I need a copy. Your Honor, I think the court has the copy that I was going to use.
I thought I gave him back to you.
You'd received a photograph. Actually, Your Honor, if I could, I would ask that this document be marked as next in order. Assuming the witness verifies its authenticity.
So go ahead.
Do you recognize this document?
I do, sir.
Same document that you were shown, copy of the same document that you were shown by Mr. Unetti, correct?
Still Lally.
I've done that twice. Mr. Lally.
Correct.
All right. Is that a true and accurate reflection of the text messages that you were exchanging with Chris Moore, Jeff Kakowski, John Fanning, Vito DiCicco, and Yuri Buchanan?
Here we go. Here it comes, folks.
Yes.
I've asked that this be marked.
Okay, any objection?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'll see you outside on there. Have that, please.
Why is Lally objecting? These are the so he's allowed to introduce text messages, but Jackson is not. That makes no sense. I think so. I think so, Tom. And what is he gonna say? It's not relevant. What about all the other stuff? Because he's butthurt is right. Side That's good. That's good. That's good. Side He opened the door, Alyssa. Exactly. Now people are just commenting side cheap. We went from sidebar to side bat to side just side sheep emoji. Larry's gonna get weird looks at airports. I don't care. I don't care. This is great. This is great, Jersey, Colorado. Unfortunately, there will not be any repercussions for Bev acting so badly, sadly enough. There are going to be no repercussions for her. By the way, we're zone 2, but we can board last.
You want me to grab you something else to eat?
No, I'm fine. Yeah, we're going to get something on the plane, maybe. Yeah. I don't know, Kelly. Bev cannot be reprimanded, unfortunately. There is no recourse for a judge who makes bad rulings. They have absolute immunity. The flight is about 4.5 hours. Do you think Bev right now is regretting her decision not to recuse herself? No. I don't think so. All right. Did you see the guy dressed as Bev this morning? Blunt. Really? Where? Outside the courthouse? The only time a judge loses immunity is if they're acting outside outside of their jurisdiction. Like when they take a step off the bench and they start acting in a different way. Oh my God, Judge Grudge. We're gonna continue that saga soon when after the new judge is gonna be assigned in the Jeremy Hill's case. Yes, there was a text about John being beaten,
Unmuted.
but they were basically discrediting that idea because it's like, ooh, it's not possible.
Ask
The-
you to back to the witness, please.
May I inquire, Your Honor?
Yes.
Trooper Proctor Trooper DeChico had sent you a photograph of my colleague, Mr. Yannetti, correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, because of a technical issue, I'm not going
Wait.
to display on the
So he made a text message
television. May I
statement
display this part?
about Yannetti.
Thank you. You see that, gentlemen?
I do, sir.
Is that the photograph that you received?
Yes.
Is that what you referred to on direct examination with Mr. Lally about receiving a photograph from of Mr. Yannetti?
Correct.
And then your response was what?
I hate that man. I truly hate that man.
Oh, I hate that man. I truly hate that man.
Actually, your response was, I'm going through his retarded client's phone right now, correct?
Wow.
Yes, after the picture, sir. Yes.
Who's the retarded client?
I was referring to Miss Reed again, unprofessional language.
I'm asking who you were referring to.
Miss
I know
Reed.
You got an explanation. Who was it that you were referring to as retarded?
Miss Reed.
Karen Reed, the woman sitting to my left.
Yes, sir.
The subject of your investigation as a professional, correct?
Yes, sir.
As an unbiased, objective investigator, the person that you were investigating, you referred to your bosses as retarded, correct?
Again, poor language on my part.
Poor language is one way to put it. Completely offensive is another way to put it, right?
Objection.
I've got to sustain that, Mr. Jackson.
After you referred to my client as retarded, then you decided to make a comment about Mr. Yannetti, her lawyer, correct?
Correct.
And what did you say about Mr. Yannetti again?
I hate that man. I truly hate that man.
I hate that man. I truly hate him,
Mhm.
correct?
Correct.
You didn't say I dislike him, disagree with him. You said I hate him, correct?
Correct, sir.
That's a visceral response to someone who's just doing a job, correct?
Objection.
Sustained. You can ask it differently.
Sure. Let me ask it this way. Were you upset or annoyed or pissed off that Karen Reed had gotten representation, legal representation, to represent her?
No, not at all. That's her right.
Well, let me ask you this. In August of 2022, you said you absolutely hate it, correct?
I don't know if I use absolutely. Yeah, I didn't use absolutely, sir.
You used truly, correct?
Truly, yes.
How do you feel about him now? He's sitting right there.
I still don't
Objection.
care for him, no.
I'll let it stand.
What did you tell your colleagues that you were looking for as you sat at almost 10 p.m. at night on a Wednesday night, August 17th, 2022, looking through Karen Reed's phone?
I didn't tell them I was looking through anything. They knew I was going through Miss Reed's phone. I provided a inappropriate joke as an update. They knew I was going through location data, text messages, Google searches. But like I had mentioned earlier, I had to stop.
Except Trooper Proctor, none of that really professional sounding stuff ended up in your comments to your bosses, did it?
Again, it was a poor joke.
Is that yes or no?
You did not know.
It did not.
No,
As a
sir.
matter of fact, what did you write after you talked about going through the quote retarded client's phone?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
No nudes so far.
No nudes so far, correct?
Correct.
And you said that to your bosses.
Yes, sir.
There he goes.
You were looking for naked photographs of Miss Reed on a Wednesday night as you sat in your office.
What
at
a
9:44,
slime bag.
correct?
No, not correct.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever looked
Oh my
for
God.
naked photos of a male suspect that you were
Game.
investigating?
I
So
don't look for naked photos on anyone's phones.
But you said you were looking for nudes of Miss Reed.
Like I had
correct?
said, Mr. Jackson, it was an inappropriate joke.
it's not a joke. There's no
Sir,
way
this
that's a
is a
joke.
citizen. She's a woman. You were supposed to be objectively investigating. Does your text message to your colleagues at Massachusetts State Police reflect an objective investigation of a citizen?
Objection.
You can get part of that question and ask it again.
Do you believe that your text messages were reflective of an objective investigator?
Objection.
I'll allow that. Do you believe that, Trooper Proctor?
I believe poor jokes have, in unprofessional language, have no bearing on the integrity and the facts and physical evidence of this case.
It's not that they don't have any bearing on the facts and integrity. It's that they have no place in a professional investigation because it shows bias, right?
Objection.
So I have to sustain that as asked. Go ahead and ask it differently, Mr. Jackson.
You weren't so much as objectively investigating Karen Reed as objectifying her, correct?
Objection.
I'll allow that.
Isn't that right?
Rephrase the question, please.
You weren't so much as objectively investigating her as objectifying her in those moments, correct?
Again, Mr. Jackson, it was a poor choice of words and a joke that I should not have texted out. But from the start of the investigation, we didn't know what we had.
And your Trooper Proctor, your point in saying no nudes so far to your colleagues in Massachusetts State Police was to suggest that you were looking for nudes and you'd update them when you found them, correct?
Incorrect.
Well, let me ask you a question. Did you find any nudes of
Again,
Karen Reed?
I didn't go through the photos, sir.
Did you find any nudes of Karen Reed?
I didn't go through the photos, sir.
You weren't successful in your quest.
I came across text messages from Miss Reed to another attorney on January 29th, so I had to stop looking through her phone.
So you got sidetracked before you could get to the naked pictures of Miss Reed. Is that what you're saying?
Objection.
Sustained.
To be clear, when you sent those text messages on that group chat, those text messages included, as we said, or as you said, not one, but two of your supervisors, correct?
Correct.
Were you ever reprimanded for your conduct in sending that text message?
Objection.
So that's sustained. Do we need to go to sidebar based on what you told me
Why
earlier?
is Lally objecting so
You
much?
do not.
Like, seriously?
So
I'll ask it a different way.
I don't understand.
Did either Trooper Fanning or Trooper Buchanan dress you down
Why
in a
is Lally
responsive
objecting
text
so
message
much?
in that text thread for doing
He's
something
making
so
it look
important
so much
as
worse.
looking for nudes or referring to nudes of a female suspect or subject of your investigation? Did that ever happen?
Not that I can recall.
As a matter of fact, in reference to one of the text messages in this same string, your boss, Yuri Buchanan, actually responded to the photo of Mr. Yannetti, didn't he?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
He did, sir.
After you received the photo, that's when you said, I'm, quote, funny, I'm going through his retarded client's phone. Is that right?
Objection.
All this, but not too many more.
Sure. Is that correct? It's on the top of page
Yes, sir.
2685.
That's correct.
And your Buchanan liked that comment. Funny, I'm going through his retarded client's phone.
I see you laughed at an image here, sir. I can't tell if he liked that comment, sir.
May I approach?
Yes.
I don't know if it's just because it's faded or, yeah, my copy's faded.
Top 2685. You can use my copy if that helps.
All right. Thank you.
What do you see on the top of that page?
That Sergeant Buchanan liked it.
Like what?
The going through his retarded client's phone, sir.
May I approach?
Yes.
I'll take my copy.
There you go.
So your supervisors at Massachusetts State Police not only didn't ride you for making comments like this, he encouraged it.
Objection.
Sustained.
Trooper Proctor, this is your direct chain of command. Is that right? You're a Buchanan.
Yes, sir.
Did you believe that your conduct was a misuse of your authority and power as you were going through her phone in August of 2022?
Objection.
I'll allow it.
No, I had a warrant signed by a district clerk, Stoughton district clerk, to go through Miss Reed's phone. I don't think it was an abuse of power. I had every right to go through that phone.
Did the warrant say anything about looking for nudes of my client?
Objection.
Did it
No, Your
say anything about that?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, next question.
So that would be an
Auntie
abuse
Bev is still
of power that was
restless.
given to you by the court, correct?
Oh my God.
Objection.
Sustained.
Trooper Proctor, you'd agree that the hallmark of any good investigation, as you've been taught and others in the Massachusetts State Police have been taught, is that the investigation and the investigator have to be fair. They have to be impartial. Would you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Meaning that the investigation has to be free of conflicts, right?
Yes, sir.
The investigator has to be free of conflicts, right?
Yes,
The investigation has to be free of bias. Is that right?
correct.
You can't be biased against the person that you're investigating. That would compromise the entire thing, wouldn't it?
Yes,
Basically, you follow the evidence. You're supposed to follow the evidence wherever it takes you, right?
correct.
Good or bad, top to bottom, just follow the evidence and report it back. That's how an investigation is supposed to be run, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And these are things that you learn early on at Massachusetts State Police Academy and then in your detective training. Isn't that right?
It is.
Literally, it's part of an oath that you took at the academy that you will, quote, faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all of the duties incumbent on you as a Massachusetts State Police trooper, right?
Yes, sir.
You swore that oath.
I did.
When you start an investigation, everybody in that investigation should be treated exactly the same. Don't you believe that's true?
Correct.
Everybody, have you ever heard the phrase, everybody's a suspect until they're not? Right?
I've-
Objection.
Sustained.
It's especially important early in an investigation before all of the facts are known that the investigator is not compromised by bias, prejudice, right?
Correct.
Most important early in the investigation, because that's when the most things are up in the air. There's the cloud, the fog of not knowing exactly what the truth is, right?
Objection.
Sustained.
In other words, Trooper Proctor, you don't get to pick a suspect and then try to find evidence to support your choice, right?
Correct.
But in this case, it's exactly what you did, isn't it?
Absolutely not.
All right, Mr. Jackson, why don't we end for today?
This is
Okay.
as good a place as any. Thank you.
Okay, all right.
All right, so folks, we're off tomorrow. Those same 3 cautions, please do not discuss this case with anyone
Don't do any independent research or investigation into this case. If you happen to see, hear, read anything about the case, please disregard it, let us know. We'll see you Wednesday morning. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right now, it's anticipated will be full days of testimony with short lunch. Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right, jury out.